Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, as you may or may not have heard, a man has been taken into custody for Charlie Kirk's murder. This time it appears to be a real suspect. It's not someone who Bongino or Cash Patel are going to say, "Oh, we've got him," but no, now we're releasing him. So I have details to share about that. I also have news about fallout after Charlie Kirk's murder, how the right is retaliating against the left, even though, as I'm going to share with you guys, it sounds like this is another MAGA person that committed this crime. Also, the so-called pro-free speech party is at it again. They are trying to silence anyone who is exercising their First Amendment right to criticize Charlie Kirk. So first up, after the FBI published more photos of their quote unquote person of interest, these photos came out yesterday, a youth pastor reached out and reported that 22-year-old Tyler Robinson was the shooter. So let me see. Think I have, maybe not. I don't have just a photo of him, but you'll see his photo in some of the news articles that I have to share. So Robinson is a Utah, sorry. Robinson is a Utah resident. I can speak. He did not attend college at the college where Kirk was speaking, where he shot Kirk allegedly. He is apparently a 3-year student at a technical college, and he was an electrical apprentice. So he was in an electrical apprenticeship program. His father is a pastor. He's also a former police officer, and the family is uber religious. On Halloween of 2017, and I wish I had taken a screenshot of this, but he had a Trump costume. This Tyler Robinson had a Trump costume. His parents are apparently registered Republicans. Robinson himself is registered as no party affiliation, and he didn't vote in the last 2 elections. But his family said that he has been becoming increasingly political. And check this out. So first of all, his family said that he told them that apparently he, in his mind, Charlie Kirk was full of hate. Okay. His grandmother, however, is coming out and saying, let me see if I can find this for you guys. His grandmother spoke with the Daily Mail, and she told them that everyone in the family is a MAGA Republican. She said, oh, they must have the wrong man because they're all Trump humpers. Now, those are my words, not hers. She said, quote, my son, his dad, is a Republican for Trump. Most of my family members are Republican. I don't know any single one who's a Democrat. You don't say. And as you could see, let me add that back to the stage. This is Tyler Robinson with his father. So, yeah. And evidently, Robinson's father suspected that it was his son in the photos that were released. So he confronted him, and Robinson, I don't know if he flat out confessed, but they said that he made comments basically admitting to the murder. So Robinson's father reached out to a youth pastor that they're very close with, asked for guidance. Robinson later turned himself in after the youth pastor reached out to the FBI or whomever, authorities, and said, hey, I know who did this. So Robinson has not been charged yet, but they're going through all of the charges that they could hit him with. Apparently, he is facing felony charges of aggravated murder, obstruction of justice, weapons charges. The government, as you may or may not have heard, they already indicated they're going to seek the death penalty. The authorities said that they seized I don't know if I have this here, but they seized a what they described as a bolt action hunting rifle with a scope. They also offered a bunch of new details about inscriptions on the bullet casings. So I do have this. Let me bring this up. So I don't know if you guys had heard, but the other day there was this big brouhaha. The Wall Street Journal said, "Oh, we have news that the bullet casings had anti-fascist language on it, that it had pro-transgender insignia," which they didn't specify what they meant by that. Well, it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay, I'm going to read to you what was inscribed on the bullets, and then I'm going to explain to you how we know that this is bullshit. So they were inscribed with things like, quote, "notices bulges." Another one said, "OWO," all in caps, "what's this?" Another one said, "Hey fascist, catch." Another said, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." Another one said, "Oh, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao." And another had various arrows on it. So what we're finding out is these inscriptions come from the video game. Not all of them, but a good number of them come from the video game called Helldivers 2. So this guy was uber online, a gamer. The arrows, check this out. The arrows, which is exactly this sequence of arrows that you see on your screen. So it's up, right, down, down, down. They represent a sequence of controller movements, of game controller movements to drop a bomb in this game. So this is what you see here on your screen. The arrows is what was inscribed on one of the bullets, and that's what the Wall Street Journal referred to as pro-transgender, or, transgender insignia. Total and complete bullshit. Other inscriptions, are very commonly, some of these things are very commonly found, they said, in online gaming chats and memes. So total and complete lies. They just either fabricated this stuff, didn't know what they were talking about, made things up, whatever. So we're also finding out, let me see if I have something on this. His roommate apparently could be in hot water. He could get arrested as well. So far, the authorities haven't said they're going to arrest him, but apparently he showed the FBI some Discord chats that he had with Robinson. And in these Discord chats, Robinson mentioned the need to, quote unquote, retrieve a rifle from a drop point. He mentioned that it was left in a bush and that it was wrapped in a towel. And he apparently said, he was watching the area, trying to figure out when it might be a good idea to go back and retrieve the rifle. So we don't know yet if the roommate knew what he was up to, knew that he shot Charlie Kirk, if the roommate was in on it. We don't know at this point. The messages apparently also referenced the engraved bullets, and they mentioned the scope on the rifle. So we'll see what happens with the roommate. The family, like I said, also mentioned that he made negative comments about Kirk prior to the shooting. Apparently they had a conversation around the dinner table, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, Kirk is coming to our area soon. I don't like him. I think he's full of hate. I'm against him." So MAGA is still blaming the left, but it had exploded over the last few days, as you guys may know. Well, we're seeing a ton of fallout as a result of this. So I don't know if you guys saw this. Let me bring it up for you. The DNC headquarters in DC had to be evacuated, and the Capitol Police were called in because there was a bomb threat made against the DNC. So the threat was found to be false. So, nobody was harmed, everything was okay. But we also had this. Let me see if I can bring it up. Oh, shoot, I don't have it here. Um, Also, there was a naval academy in Maryland that received threats. They had to shut down. That also came hours after almost a dozen Black colleges were threatened. So, I mean, this has just gotten out of control. These people are losing their minds. And then check this out. So, Laura Loomer, as you guys know, Looney Laura, she is a nut job. Chaya Raichik, if you guys haven't heard of her, she's the one who started Libs of TikTok. I shared a post that she made yesterday saying this is war. So those two, also convicted felon Enrique Tarrio, former Proud Bigot, they all three have been doxing people on Twitter for insulting Charlie Kirk and people celebrating his death. So Laura Loomer posted this. She wrote, quote, "Charlie Kirk's death will not be in vain. I will be spending my night making everyone I find online who celebrates his death famous. So prepare to have your whole future professional aspirations ruined if you are sick enough to celebrate his death. I'm going to make you wish you never opened your mouth. These people need to be condemned in society, and there must never be a place for these people to gather without facing the shame of their behavior." Well, I'm saving this tweet because I'm sure there's going to be people who want to sue Laura Loomer into oblivion because people are being threatened. People are being threatened with assault. Apparently, someone, I don't know if it was Laura, but someone set up a website the night of Charlie Kirk's murder, and they wrote Charlie, or it's called, I should say, Charlie's Murderers. So on this website, they're posting the names and social media usernames, email addresses of people who are not properly mourning Charlie Kirk's loss, or people who are actually, praising the shooter, celebrating it. Well, one of the people that they posted on there is a journalist. Her name is Rachel Gilmore. She is now receiving death threats and threats of rape. So let me bring this up for you guys. Yeah. So, I guess to prove that the left is really the violent party, MAGA is now threatening physical and sexual harm to leftists. Yeah, it makes perfect sense if you're a sociopathic right winger, or I should say MAGA right wing person, right? I mean, they prove our point at every turn. Also, check this out. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he said he's going to ban foreigners who are, quote unquote, making light of Charlie Kirk's death. So if you are someone in another country and you want to come to America, too bad if you didn't properly, have a breakdown and condemn Charlie Kirk's murder. I mean, because, if you're going to glorify or praise violence, then you have to be a right winger, right? You have to be a MAGA supporter in order to do that. That's okay. That's okay. When they're mocking a 80-some-year-old man being almost bludgeoned to death, that's totally fine. When you don't give a damn and you lie and say that it was a left-winger who shot the Minnesota officials and murdered one of them and her husband and their dog, that's okay. That's perfectly fine in MAGA's mind. But anyway, not to be outdone, Republican Clay Higgins, he is a congressman. Let me bring up his tweet for you, if I can find it here. Actually, I got to bring this up. But yeah, this Higgins guy, Um, no, actually, don't think I have it. Shoot. Okay, so I'm going to read it to you because I don't have the screenshot of it. But Clay Higgins, again, he is a Republican lawmaker. He said, quote, "I'm going to use congressional authority and every influence with big tech platforms to mandate immediate ban for life of every post or commenter that belittled the assassination of Charlie Kirk. If they ran their mouth with their smart-ass hatred, celebrating the heinous murder of that beautiful young man who dedicated his whole life to delivering respectful conservative truth into the hearts of liberal enclave universities, armed only with a Bible and a microphone and a constitution, those profiles must come down." Yeah. He said further, so I'm going to lean forward in this fight, demanding that big tech have zero tolerance for violent political hate content, to the user to be banned from all platforms forever. I'm also going after their business licenses and permitting their businesses will be blacklisted aggressively. They should be kicked from every school and their driver's license should be revoked. I'm basically going to cancel with extreme prejudice these evil, sick animals who celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination. I'm starting that today. That is all. Yeah, really? Okay. Well, it's very funny, very odd that he should say that, because this same Republican, Clay Higgins, look at what he posted after Nancy Pelosi's elderly husband was almost bludgeoned to death. Take a look at this. Posted a picture of Nancy Pelosi looking kind of concerned and upset. And he wrote, for anybody on the podcast, quote, "That moment you realize the nudist hippie male prostitute LSD guy was the reason your husband didn't make it to your fundraiser." This same asshole who is trying to destroy people's lives, take away their business license, take away their driver's license, completely destroy them, get them kicked off of social media permanently. This same motherfucker was mocking Nancy Pelosi after her husband was almost killed. This is what freaking hypocrites they are on the MAGA right. And then check this out. Senator Mike Lee of Utah, he posted this. He is trying to, he's slamming author Stephen King. So Stephen King, as you may be able to see here, he rightfully pointed out that Charlie Kirk, he was a total bigot. I'm sorry, but he was. Actually, I'm not sorry. He was a freaking bigot. Charlie Kirk advocated for stoning people to death. Mike Lee posts, "Please share if you agree that the estate of Charlie Kirk should sue Stephen King for defamation over this heinously false accusation. He crossed a line. It will prove costly." I'm sorry. Show me the lie. Charlie Kirk put a target on the back of every LGBTQ person with his hatred. There is nothing wrong with calling out who someone was. Just because someone is dead doesn't mean that all of a sudden they're a great person. Rush Limbaugh was a psychopath, a hate-filled bigot who spewed out the most hateful trash on a daily basis. I'm sorry. You do not have to all of a sudden lift someone up and pretend that they were some wonderful person just because they're dead. I didn't do it for my father, who was a woman beater and a sociopath. I'm not going to do it for other people. I'm not going to do it for Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to do it for Rush Limbaugh. Sure as shit, I'm not going to do it when Donald Trump croaks. So this is just bullshit. I'm so sick of this. I'm like up to my eyeballs sick of frickin' MSNBC with this shit. Just praising Charlie Kirk now because he's dead. So these people are hypocrites. They're psychos. They are going to get someone killed. They're just nasty, lying SOBs. That's all they are. And as we can see from, Robinson's grandmother, they're also idiots because it was, again, more than likely one of their own. The call is coming from in the House, MAGA Republicans. And, I should point out too, I wish I'd taken a screenshot of this, but the mother of Robinson, of Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin, she posted on Facebook about one of her other children, one of the younger siblings in the family, and was bragging about, oh, he's a gun-toting, Bible-loving, blah, 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 blah. This is who this family was. They were a bunch of hunters. I should point out too, and I've said this before, and I've had people pissed off at me, and I don't really give a damn. I think hunting is a lazy man's quote unquote sport. If your idea of a sport is sitting in the bushes, dressed in camo against a defenseless animal who has no weapon, who can't fight you, and pulling a trigger, that's your idea of a sport, you're freaking lazy and you need to get off your ass. Just a fact. Just a fact. And when you go out and you teach children that it is okay to take the life of another sentient being, a helpless animal, guess what? You're raising a sociopath. You are teaching your children that other lives don't matter. This is the inevitable end result. So, good job, Mom and Dad. Good job. Anyway, I'll keep you guys posted. I'll let you know when we hear more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.